In a world of uncertainty and turmoil, one man stands alone, along with his faithful sidekick. A man who entertains and educates the masses weekly, 70% of the time. Born out of the dusty plains of Washington State, now from the coastal forests of Oregon. The man, the myth, the man, G23.
Welcome, everyone. This is Saturday Evening Chats episode number 75. And so far this evening, we have the co-host extraordinaire, Mr. DM Foss.
Good evening.
And if you like the intro, you can thank Mr. DM Foss. So, I guess everyone's talking a lot about 20 years ago, what happened. I am going to start it off with a moment of silence to remember the fallen for what happened 20 years ago, and then we're going to go into a couple other topics. So, okay, so go through. Defense Dad was first, followed by Artak and Daughters, Burnaby Sanchez, Michael Herkneck, and George Washington. So, welcome everyone out in the side chat. And so, welcome Mr. Artak and Daughters. How are you doing?
My death over COVID is greatly exaggerated.
Damn it. I was starting to look forward to my inheritance.
Victorious is what inheritance is all hers.
Damn it.
Especially since she's the one that brung the COVID in the house.
Wasn't intentional. Oh.
So, Foss asked you how you feeling after all that.
I still feel like crap.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
No?
They just gave me a Z-Pack, steroids, and some antibiotics. So I still have shortness of breath and all that.
Yeah, I hear that can last for quite a while afterwards. Right. So,
but the wife's in the hospital over it.
Oh crap!
Yeah, it's kind of strange because of Victoria brought it home. She was exposed to Victoria for about 3 days, but she didn't get it until like a week ago.
Supposedly for certain people it takes longer than others.
Right.
And so, but I know with her underlying health issues.
Yeah, that's why I took her to hospital. I told her and enjoy her vacation.
Right.
That's right, bud.
So I guess Defense Dad got to go home early. So, congrats. So we had the 2 comment periods and the Shipman withdrawal. So a lot of people have come up with the theory that, he was a smokescreen. And I can see where they're getting that kind of theory. But I've also come up with, what if the true whole deal about it was that they threw up the Chipman and the 2 pistol brace comments to distract you from what their real target was, which was the receivers. So they got everybody focused on Chipman. They got everyone focused on, pistol braces. And when you start looking at like the approved comments, which G-Webs has done a great job with both of those, the loudmouths that you would be expecting, Every Town for a Gun and Mom's Demand and all those guys, didn't ever really go hard against pistol braces. Why is that? Was that another smokescreen just so that they would divide everyone's attention from the fact that they really want the redefinition of receivers so that they can start to rein in? Anyone else have a thought of that?
I don't know.
Because if you read what they put down for the redefinition of a receiver, it would infringe further than just the AR that everyone's thinking, because it would go against pretty much all your striker fire handguns also. It'd go against any of your, the Beretta APX, which you can change out the lower, your grip module. It would go against your
SIGs.
Yeah, the SIGs, the 320s, the 65s, because now every single one of those parts is going to have to be serialized. So that's...
Well, my 2 cents on it is that they put Chipman up there. He was a sacrificial lamb. They want us all to feel like we won. And they knew with his record that he would never get confirmed from Manchin or Captain West Virginia there, or any other moderate Democrat that's left. I think there's only 3 of them. He's a sacrificial lamb. Now they're going to come back with some joker who is not as well known, but is just as dangerous as Chipman. And then they'll throw that person up. And then that'd be the next fight. Also, if you notice, that Biden has not gotten rid of him yet. He's going to put him somewhere else. So who knows?
Yep.
On the receivers, though, they hadn't won. You're acting like they've won already. They not announced anything, and they won't announce anything.
Oh, no, they're not.
Because they're going to the first brace pistol thing was a test run for them to because here's another thing. The most important thing is that the 2A community has no unity within us all. There is not one organization that is no compromise other than GOA. And then we just seen what happened when they called out a bunch of Florida rhinos. Well, then the Second Amendment Foundation started attacking them. That shit's got to stop. What we need is a unified list of things that we want, realistically, and then all the organizations attack on that, because that's what Bloomberg's money does for every town and every mayor and moms against shitheads and all that shit. We need the same type of organization. We're all off doing our own little things. We're like a pack of ants that are not working together.
Yeah. Because, FPC and SAF both attacked GOA for calling out rhinos.
Right, and that's a crock of shit. And we all know that each state has its own little politics and all this and that. So these other two organizations got mad because they called them out. Why? Because they're backing them? If that's the case, then I need to reevaluate the Second Amendment Foundation. I reevaluated the Firearm Policy Coalition a long time ago. And if they're sponsoring a YouTuber or multiple YouTubers, then they don't need my money, because they're just giving money for YouTubers. Now, I'm not going to mention any channel names, The Daily Shooter, but yeah. What's he need money for? Other than, you're doing this as a hobby, habit, whatever, you want to make money, but second, or what is it, the Firearm Policy Coalition, well, they're suing in California. California's a lost cause. I don't care. Some people will disagree with me on this, but it's a one-party state. If you win by one lawsuit out there, like the magazine thing, they're not going to press that. They're not. If they press that and take it, and then they lose to Supreme Court or lose to the Supreme Court, then that takes all the magazine bans out of effect right then and there. But what happens if we pull that case and we lose in the Ninth Circuit over the magazine ban in California out there in the ninth? So what does that mean? That means now there's a split decision. It's going to have to go to the Supreme Court. Doesn't mean it's going to go our way. We assume it will because it's conservative led. But what's his the Chief Justice now? He's swinging back and forth more than Joe Biden flip flops.
Yep. And even if Scalia doesn't vote that way,
He's dead. You got the wrong one. I know which one you mean.
Yeah. It should theoretically. I'm going to say theoretically because you never know.
That's true.
It should still go as a 5-4.
Sure.
But yeah.
But that goes against about all these organizations. You got the NRA, Second Amendment Foundation, Firearm Policy Coalition, and GOA. The only one I see really does anything really good is the GOA, because they're not willing to compromise. And I'm not with no more. We don't need no more. That should be number one on our list. No new gun laws, period. That should be number one on our list. Number two should be removing items from the NFA, because we can't take the NFA down as one huge legislation piece, because that's never going to happen. You'll never get enough Republicans to vote for that. But what we can do is pick away at it and start taking things off of it, like AOWs, short-barreled rifles, and suppressors.
Yep, we definitely need to start pushing for the
right. And we need
Hearing Control Act.
Right. We need a unified list of demands that we want and go after them. If we don't, then that. And Biden, Mr. Puddinhead, yeah, he'll push this. He's going to push that. Country's already divided. It's been divided since Obama. We're 2008 since we've been divided. Or, well, actually, his second term is when he turned into shit. We're going to talk about missed opportunities. He really set back race relations in this country 30 years. He should have said that, no, don't do this. Don't fight against the police. In this day and age where you got every cell phone has 50 people to it, and you got, it's not 1960, so police brutality ain't going to get, you're not going to get away with it. He should have said, look, and this goes to the white community as well, or any other community, it doesn't matter who you are. Stop resisting. Do as you say. If they beat your ass, you're going to get paid later on. So there's not a person out there who won't take an ass whooping for $1 million. Am I right?
$1 million? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm just saying.
Most of those cases are like 20 million or more.
After taxes.
You can't. They don't tax on
personal injury. No, they could.
Nope. If it's a court case, then they can't tax on it.
You're not correct in that. Buddy of mine got injured. Court settlement. Come first year, they 1099 his ass.
Huh.
Got to make that specific in the lawsuit. Yeah. He couldn't believe we got 1099 from the people that he got hurt from. God, he was mad. It's pretty fun. I thought it was funny, but
he probably could have argued that because
he took it to his tax lady and said they'd have to file all kinds of paperwork, but realistically, it'd be a waste of time and it cost him more money to try to fight it than to just paying the taxes on it. Which is funny because they taxed him on the full $20,000, but after lawyers' fees and all that, he only got like $3,000.
Yep.
So
I didn't have to pay a single penny in taxes.
You're not supposed to, because that's personal injury and you're receiving a settlement. It shouldn't be taxable income. But they 1099 him. I couldn't go. I ain't never seen anything like that in my life. But yeah, we need to have, maybe we should sit down one day. Well, we are sitting down, but get together one day and discuss 10 items that we want to see changed. We want all, and then not just these pro 2A gun legislation people like GOA and NRA and all those. They need to agree to this list too. We all need to agree to it. They need to go after these items and the manufacturers. Now, here's somebody that we never hear anybody or any of them saying anything. You don't hear Remington saying anything. You don't hear Weston saying anything. You don't hear Ruger saying anything.
So G-Web's kind of brought this up last night on his 2A wrap-up. And which will divide a lot of people. So back in the day, when the Hillary hole was getting put in, Smith and West, they went after the Ring of Fire in California, and they won there. So then an attorney out of California said, "Okay, well, I'm going to start going after the big corporations, and so they sued Smith and Wesson, which is how the Commerce Act came in place. But Smith and Wesson caved, and they agreed to put the Hillary hole in. So did Taurus and a bunch of other. They all agreed and everything. And Glock stood up and said, "Not going to happen. We're not going to do it. And here's the reason why you can't make us do it." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're right." And so they backed off.
Well, we as gun owners need to make sure the manufacturers get on board with this. That's why we need to have a list of demands of what we want. They need to go after it too. So when one of these agencies, one of the alphabet people try to sue them, like the ATF going after rare breed triggers, you sue their asses. You stop them in their tracks. And here's the thing, Smith, and you know as well as I do, all the big gun manufacturers have lawyers that work in-house. It's not costing them no more money to go file these lawsuits because they already get the lawyers on staff. Or they should have a lawyer on staff to handle this crap. And then they need to stand up to the U.S. government and also say, look, you continue to pass these draconian gun laws, we're not going to sell the government weapons. Who's going to make you look at it right now. FN makes all the replacements for the M4s now. The ones I had in the Guard, I had FN. We had FN ones. The A2s we had in the Coast Guard, FNs. No, not the only American-made gun I shot was doing basic, and that was a Colt M16A1, and we was using 55 grain ammo in it. And let me tell you, there's all boat tailing at the end of 25 yards because we had the raw ammo. Those were like 1 in 12 twist or something like that. And that's the only time I've ever held the American-made M16 was in basic, and that was it. The rest of the time we had FN 3-round burst. So and here's another thing too. Like, how's that lawsuit from Mexico against all the gun manufacturers in the U.S. going? You know, they were suing everybody but SIG because they had an order on with SIG. That's when SIG should have stood up and said, no, we're not going to sell you any weapons until you drop this frivolous lawsuit against the rest of the U.S. manufacturers. Didn't hear shit from SIG saying that, did you? Of course not, because they want the money.
Yeah,
I mean, SIG's already bankrupt in Germany.
They can still stand up and quash this.
They won't.
If they want to. And like you said, they won't. So we got gun-loving grandpa who's jumped in out in the crowd. Welcome. And Corn Pop out there. So welcome, everyone. And we've got Rob D, the New York Outcast, who's jumped in on the panel. So welcome, Rob. How's it going?
Going all right. How's it going, everybody?
Not bad at all.
Cool. See, our tech survived. Congratulations.
That's what I got left.
Great timing, huh?
Yeah.
You catch last week's show?
No. I off and on.
Man. Let me tell you, these guys are trying to blame everything, the world's problems, on you. And they dragged your kid into it, and I had to stand up for you guys. So let me tell you, know who you're talking to. Yeah, you might want to review that.
All I said was that I was on the COVID quarantine due to the fact that our cat gave me COVID. It's that damn catching. You can catch it through the internet.
I wouldn't doubt it. The whole
It got pretty deep.
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh well. I'm big enough to take the blame. I can, but now I'm back, so I can fix everything. Just give me about 5 minutes.
Yep. So, what's going on with you, Rob?
Not much. Putting in some late hour work. So, but yeah, I can BS with you online here. So, other than that, not much.
So we got Ghost Rider USA out in the crowd, who says hey to everybody on the panel and the side chat. So,
Hey.
I threw a question out earlier. We'll see what your kind of thoughts on it are. So, we all agree that they used Chipman as a diversion on the comment period, and then I'm saying that they also threw the pistol braces in on a comment period, hoping to distract enough that they could, stack the deck on the comments for the redefinition of a receiver. Yeah, we haven't heard anything from there, but if you look at just the comments that were put in, like over 100,000 comments that were kind of like boilerplate BS went in from every town and those guys. But if you look at the pistol brace, you don't see those same boilerplate anti comments out there.
When you mean bullet plate, you're talking about copy and paste crap, right?
Yeah, like just the boilerplate that's just put your name to this and hit the send button.
Well, we got off on a tangent on that one, but now wasn't it all? Hadn't we always been told not to send those form letters because the ATF don't take those seriously and they won't read them, won't count them? Haven't we always been told that?
Yep.
Okay then. So I don't put no stock in that if that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So if they don't count, if they end up counting them, we'll know. And then they've changed the rules again, and there's precedent for a lawsuit.
Well, they've always accepted them and everything, and they approve them.
Right.
They always go and get approved.
But they don't count them as real people.
Yeah, they just kind of like throw it off as okay, well, blah blah blah. No one's really, putting any effort into this.
Right, and that's now if they continue that policy with these ones from every town and Bloomberg, then there's not much there. Because let's face it, those are all anti-gun people. They don't know what guns are, and how are they going to comment on something they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I mean, other than just trying to baffle somebody with bullshit.
Well, I think mainly what that was. Well, I agree that your redefinition should be should go into effect is what they pretty much say.
Right.
So I see we have Fiend Dog 27 out in the crowd. But yeah, and like you're saying, is they should get set off to the side as like, okay, well, just like they do with the GOA, and stuff like that. I see we got PNW Woods out in the crowd.
Now, what I do like, what the GOA does with when they send you an envelope and there's a bunch of ones to both your senators and your representative in Congress, and you got to put your own stamp on there and fill it out. You know what I mean? Those are more than I've gotten several of those. I've always sent them in, and each time my representative, or Marsha Blackburn, has always responded with a letter each time I sent one of those postcards in. Now it's a form letter, but they responded, so they're getting. I think those are very effective, more so than email. On contacting your representative, other than a phone call, or if you can ever, I'll give you a good example. Bob Corker, he was, our representative out of Chattanooga. He was mayor of Chattanooga and all that. He represented the rich part of Chattanooga, which is like Single Mountain. And that's where he's from, where he lived and all that. And he came up here to Cleveland, and he happened to be addressing some people at the museum center right behind me. And I called him out in my parking lot. And then I hosed him. I told him exactly what was going to happen because, he wasn't wanting to support Trump or anything like that. I said, look, Bob, you're this country's not ran by Single Mountain. This is not Chattanooga. Either you pick up your big boy pants, put them on, be a man, and stand with the president because he's the leader of our party. Whether you like it or not, you play ball. If you do not play ball, he won't give you anything you need, which means that hurts us, which means it's going to hurt you in election time. So if you do decide to run for re-election, remember, people here don't give two shits about Single Mountain or you. What we care about is what's happening on the national stage. Now, he sit and listened to me, and I give him that because I had to open the gate up if he wanted out of my parking lot. So he had no choice but to listen. You know what I'm saying? And I said, and if you're not going to support Trump, don't bother running again because I'll vote for a Democrat on fucking purpose, and my whole family will too. I said, now, those 10 votes may or may not hurt you. That's 10 votes that you're not going to get. And, of course, he didn't run for re-election. Marsha Blackburn got it. And I don't really care for her all that much, too, because she talks a lot of stupid shit. And I hose her on her page all the time. Matter of fact, when she's up for re-election, or primary, I'm gonna vote for the other candidate because I don't like her. She's better than Corker on some things, but she's not what I exactly wanted. Of course, none of us get the politician we exactly wanted.
Right. So I see we've got Misha N out there and PNW Woods and Mr. CW Longshot out in the crowd. Welcome, everybody. So, yeah. Mr. Rob, you got any thoughts on what I was asking?
He might not be able to hear you.
Sorry, the gloves won't let me hit the mute. Not really. I don't know what's, can't speak for them. What they do seems like it's probably a distraction, but no shock on my part. So I know my comment, I just wrote one, so it might not be all great and moving, but obviously I just took seems smart.
I have to agree that the pistol braces is just a distraction.
I'm
Because
thinking
they know
Rob's
that-
still trying to talk, except that he's like roboting
No.
seriously hard.
No, I was
Oh.
done.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Artak.
Okay. Okay, let's try this again. The pistol braces is just a distraction for the receivers. And the reason why I say that is because if they go against the pistol braces, that opens up all kinds of lawsuits, not just from disabled people in general, but veterans who wanted to use it the first time around, which got it approved. But then that goes against the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. That affects my wife. Doesn't affect me all that much because I got my nerve damage is not on my trigger fingers. So, God Almighty. So yeah, and the receiver thing here, that's another thing too. They're going to have to open up a new FFL just to throw those serial numbers on. That's not going to stop everybody who owns an AR or any two-piece gun from applying for that gunsmith license and then assigning their own serial numbers to their uppers. And I understand why they want to do that is because you had that AFT agent who was testifying against the AFT and getting these felons, let's face it, people who shouldn't have had guns to begin with, off because of a technicality, because of the way the receiver is made on the AR-15. And I see why they want to do that, but again, we all know we give them an inch, they'll take 2 miles from us. And we can't, we just can't agree to that. Or everybody needs to flood the FFL over the gunsmith thing to do that. If you flood it with enough paperwork, it's going to shut it down. Because we already know they're already 6 months to a year to get your Form 3 back or Form 1 back. So how long is it going to take to get these? They can't be serialized overnight. And then the cost. That was something else I brought up, was the cost of the receivers. How, FFL now here in Tennessee, the guys around me, they're all charging $10 to do the paperwork. And that's to keep the paperwork. That's their paperwork fee. $10. I know other parts of the country, it's $25, $30 to keep your paperwork. So now imagine you get all these uppers. Let's call it 10 million because there's at least that many floating around here that you're going to have to go, and so that's going to increase the cost to the consumer unnecessarily. And that's how that's how I formed my opinion on the receiver on one part of it. The other part is that how big a piece of metal you got to have before you consider it a gun. So now we're talking not just aluminum, brass, plastic. That's unreasonable. Are they just going to go ahead and go to the Lowe's and Home Depot there and start serializing every piece of pipe, PCV, copper tubing, and all that? Because all that's could be made in shotguns easily. So it makes no sense, the receiver definition. or trying to stop parts and all that. But all we have to do, and then I'll shut up for a while, is hold them off, keep them off until November 2022. Because we know the House is going to change back to the Republican side. There's no way it's not. We may gain some seats in the Senate, and if so, that locks up Puddinhead and the Hoe for the next 2 years, and they're in a lame duck presidency. They won't be able to do anything.
Well, yes and no, because the ATF, they were kind of forced to do something because of that executive order that Biden said, "Hey, do something." So they serve at his behest, and so they were forced to do something.
True, but the House controls the budget. So if they cut their budget, then you see what I'm saying? There's a way to stop them. So they'll get put in a mess, but he won't be able to pass anything. And then we all know anything they say is just an opinion. It's not law, and it can be defeated.
Well, that's the whole receiver thing. The definition is codified in law, so they cannot change it.
Right.
They do not have the power to change it.
But that's what they're trying to do.
Well, yes, I know. Because there's no real consequences to. If they do it and it sticks, they win. If they do it and it's ruled unconstitutional, they don't really lose anything.
No,
there's no
but we
consequence
win.
to what they're doing.
There's no consequence to them other than hurting them in the pocketbook.
Well, it doesn't really even hurt them in the pocketbook.
They cut their budget.
Well, yes, and not really.
I mean, they're going to get paid anyway, but they ain't got money to do their programs.
It'll, like you're saying, it'll keep them from
down,
being able to do as much. But, it's like all the unconstitutional laws that are passed on the state level. There's no consequences to doing it. If it gets struck down, it gets struck down, and then they do it again and do it again. And there's, I don't want to get too far into this. The only way to stop that is by voting them out, but there's not enough people care.
Unfortunately. Because it seems like the left only cares about their rights when it's to kill a baby. The rest of the time, they don't care. You never hear them say anything about internet, or because the social media is controlled by the left. So, they get their way. They can say what they want and do what they want. Anybody who disagrees with them is automatically banned. Think about the outcry if Obama was silenced from social media instead of Trump. They would have been all called racist and Nazis and all kinds of crap like that. And the left has utilized the racist word, the race card, the homophobe card, all the ism cards that they got. Because that's the only way they can win an argument was by calling you a racist or a homophobe. And they could care less that we took the L in Afghanistan. Now, that was going to happen whether it was under Trump or not. It just wouldn't have happened as fast as under Trump. And the withdrawal wouldn't have been a total cluster. But the ATF really needs to be regulated. That's something else we need to work on our list of things that we want. The ATF power needs to be reduced. They don't need any more power.
They shouldn't have the power they have, but Congress
Exactly.
gave it to them because they're a tax
Right. Well,
collecting agency.
exactly. So if that, well, no, that's not necessarily true, because if you violate the $200 tax stamp, you shouldn't go to prison for 10 years and be a.
What? No, that's
You-
true. But I mean, that's they were created to collect a tax. That was their purpose, and then Congress put on them the power to regulate, which it should not be their power.
Right. So if Congress can give, if Congress can take it,
Yes.
that's my point. That's what needs to be on the. They are supposed to examine pistol braces, for example, whatever. Okay, is this, like I said, we need to pick what we want. First thing we need to go with is no more gun legislation, period. Not one more bill on a federal level. And the states should adopt the same thing. Second thing is, let's deregulate the ATF. Give them a clear, defined mission. This is what you do. You stay in your lane. And take the ATF where it cannot be used as a political tool to advance one or the other. They can't be used to advance 2A, and they can't be used to advance gun control. They should be a total neutral party or neutral entity that has no bearing whatsoever on it, other than design of the guns. Is this a shotgun? Is this a rifle? Blah, blah, blah. No more than what they do. No more it's already printed. You see what I'm saying? That should be the number 2 thing on a list. We should have like a 10-item list or 10-point list. Maybe I'll put a list together and post it and let you guys pick through it and see what do. Once somebody needs to do it, one of us is going to have to. So, I've been thinking about this for a long time since I've been at the house here over COVID.
When you're quarantined, you got a lot of time to do nothing but thinking.
That's true.
So we got Jerry Parker out there, Warsaw Patriot, Mario Molina, Thoughts of an Old Soldier. We've got James Pollard, Keith Gregory. Anyone else jump in when I was gone? Nope. So I see Mario said he was only able to be here for a little bit while he was on lunch, but now he's got to get back to work. So thanks for swinging in. And yeah, I mean, we got so many different things that we could put on that list on what our wants are. And that's the thing is, how are you going to get 3 million people to agree?
Well, we need to, once we get the list together, we need to submit it to the GOA and all these other pro-right gun organizations and say, look, this is what we need. This is what we want. Start preaching it. And if they don't, then we don't support them with money, because let's face it, they're not doing it for free. Not a one of them's doing it for free. If they say they are, they're full of shit. Because they're making money some way off of it.
Oh, yeah. So Michael Hurtneck brings up, here in Texas, we just passed suppressors made in Texas, no tax stamp. Well,
that's useless, because that.
I was going to say, if you remember back just a few years ago, Kansas. What was it? Kansas. Yep. Yeah. Where those two guys are now federally prohibited and faced and did a little bit of time in federal penitentiary over that same exact thing. So how would it be any different in Texas? and I
Well, I mean,
I just don't see any like SOTs willing to put their FFL on the line.
that's right. And the thing is, though, is that we all know this, and you should know this if you did civics. State law does not trump federal law. Federal law is the law of the country. So if the federal law is up against state law, where are they going to sue at? Federal court. The federal law will always take precedent. That's part, I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, that's where we get into another problem with like states out west that legalize marijuana. That's still against federal law, and it's up to like Merrick Garland if he want, or Jeff Sessions when he was AG, to prosecute all those companies out there that were breaking federal law. So that sets a precedent, though, where the people in Kansas didn't use that. I think if somebody wants to be the test case in Texas, go ahead, brother. More power to you. Have your ducks in a row, but also bring up the pot being sold throughout the country, and it's still against federal law. So that way, the federal government cannot pick and choose which law is being applied to who and where out in the country. Because there's that little thing in the Constitution that says you can't do that.
Well, it's still in California. The pot shops still will get raided by the feds.
Well, yeah. I mean, but they're not shutting them down. They're not charging. I mean, they could charge them and then they'll walk because of the prosecutors out in California. Now we're talking about one state rule, though.
Yeah.
But if they take this on a federal level and say, look, you got the feds allowing this to happen still, but yet a suppressor with a $200 tax stamp, and all because you're not getting your $200 tax, versus these people growing corporations. Now you're talking about those large pot farms. How much pot does it take to get caught with to be a felon? Anybody know? Over a pound?
I have no idea.
It's over if you get caught with a pound, they're going to get you for distribution, and you're going to get you're going to grab a federal charge on that. When they go and arrest these people at these pot farms, they arrest them all. They charge them all with distribution because that's what they're doing. They're at a distribution center is what they're doing.
But
charge them all with felons.
Also, they also had it depended upon what the state law was, because back
state
in the
law
day,
doesn't matter though, because we're talking federal law.
Yeah, but the Fed will always fall back on what the state is going to, unless it's
didn't do it for the Kansas boys though, did it?
Nope.
Okay, then you can't say that's always going to happen, because we both know that the left coast has a big pot growing monopoly out there.
Yeah, I mean it's happening all over the United States. There's a lot of different pot growers.
Yeah, but in my state, if you get caught, you're going to get charged, and you're going to go spend a couple days in jail and get a fine.
Didn't you guys just legalize like?
No, only pot that's legalized here is that CBD crap.
I thought you guys did medical and stuff.
Well, medical has always been legal,
and
it has quite a bit, but there's no huge farms here growing it. There's nobody here growing it. Everybody here likes to do meth. It's a little bit easier. Pot is for the people too poor to buy meth now, because they can grow it in their basement if they were smart enough and smoke it regularly, and no one would ever do. So I mean, and the whole problem with pot, why it will never be federalized, is because they cannot tax it.
So Michael says that he's talked to two FFLs that are selling made in Texas suppressors and are not collecting tax on them.
That's not how that works. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, if they're not doing the
They're not doing the paperwork is all. And they're not sending in the $200 tax money. So therefore, they're putting their FFLs on the line by doing that, and they're dumbasses. Unless they got all their ducks in a row and a good attorney, then more power to them. Somebody's going to have to be the test case. As soon as somebody gets caught with one of those suppressors made by them,
again, you go back to the Kansas.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
If you actually look, the feds probably would never have gotten involved in that if they wouldn't have been flaunting it.
I don't know about that. That's hard.
If they wouldn't have been throwing it out all over the internet and stuff like that, I'm thinking they may have just, whatever, because that's not I mean, I could be absolutely wrong, and that's just something we'll never know until maybe a situation in Texas happens.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree. Well, if you think about the left always wants to see what we're going to do pro-wise so they can try to figure out some way to attack us. They don't never attack us on facts. They'll just attack us on think of the children or, emotion thing. They say think of the children when they kill more kids than there are guns in the country. But yeah, I don't know. I would not risk that in Texas. I wouldn't have done it in Kansas because, dude, those guys in Texas are felons now. I mean, in Kansas, they're SOL.
Yep. And the thing is if you get a federal felony compared to a state level felony, there's only one person that can grant you your rights back.
That's right. I don't think you got 10% to give the big guy.
So Biden is going to be, or whoever the president is going to be the only one that can grant you your rights back.
Well, he can give you a pardon, you should say. State-wise, you can always get one from the governor, and that's a lot easier than getting one from the president.
Well, and state-wise, depending upon your state, you may not even need what would be considered a pardon. So like in Washington, all you have to do is file it in your local county, whatever county that you committed the crime in. After you've done all your stuff, you've paid all your fines, and you've waited X amount of time, you go to the court and you file the paperwork, you pay your court fees, and then you wait for your court date and you get in front of a judge, and the judge can grant that you get your rights back or not. And then you can always appeal that decision if they don't get a favorable decision. That's your choice. And then you can always go to the state level and ask the governor to grant you your rights back. But yeah, it all depends upon what state you're living in. There's certain states that will make it a hell of a lot easier to get your rights back, and other states that you're pretty much SOL of getting your rights back. And then again, it all depends upon what crime you commit, because we all know that if you get a domestic violence, that you're never getting your rights back. That's a one that you have to get a presidential pardon, and which is really stupid, because here's a situation, and we've all discussed what happens a lot of times in domestic situations. But say you and your brother, back when you're friggin' 12, 13 years old, get into a fight in the front yard and the neighbor calls the cops, and so you take the ride, because now you started the fight. Guess what? They can charge you for domestic violence. It doesn't mean that you're sleeping together. It just means that you all cohabitate under the same fucking roof.
All right.
And you can get a domestic violence charge over yelling and arguing. It does not mean that there actually was a physical altercation.
And that's another major foul up in that law over domestic. That's something that needs to be. That's a whole nother subject. But you are correct, and it needs to be looked at because how many people, and it goes to other unjust laws like statutory rape or something like that. There's all kinds of cases. I knew a guy who was. The girl lied to him, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? He caught that felony charge of rape because she was like, she was 17 or 16, and he still got charged, but he was like 25 or 26 or some shit. So.
Well,
but now state law was on his side, but they still charged him, and he still had to register he didn't do no time, but he still had to register as a sex offender. And his life is ruined for that.
Yeah. But so Misha says, good news is a juvenile record is sealed most of the times. No,
that's not true. Depends on what it is.
Well, not only that, but it also, they don't automatically just seal your record. Anymore, you have to petition the court to have your record sealed. After you have served all your time, after you've paid all your fines, I mean, that's your attorney fees, the cost it was for you sitting your ass in juvenile hall.
That's right.
All of that has to be paid off. Even
she's correct about her 3 firearm thefts. See, now my oldest, who was mixed up with a bad guy, he got her to steal a couple guns from me, and now she was never charged with those felonies because they went after him, and he admitted that he got her to take the guns. But yeah, they never went after her on those. So yeah. You're right. It depends. Again, it depends on.
And Misha's a dude.
Oh, sorry.
just by the way.
I assumed you was female by your name. That's all.
Yeah, and
we know what they say about about assuming things. It's the mother of all fuck up.
Yep. And the thing is it all depends upon your state, also.
Exactly.
So,
big difference.
Yes, here in Oregon, I'm telling you one thing. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, well it's over on the left coast," and everyone wants to talk all the crap. But the fact is, it's also one of the easiest states to get your rights restored.
That could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Because if you go 15 years, I think it's 15 years without committing a crime and everything, they restore your rights.
Well, I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with somebody having a second chance. I mean, depending on what you did, if it's a non-violent crime, then I have no problem with that. If it's a violent crime, should you really be out? Because I'm a proponent of capital punishment. So if you kill somebody, murder somebody, and therefore you just forfeit your life.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, if the state prosecutes you wrong, okay, well then your family is going to get paid. It doesn't help you none because you're dead, but That's the way it should be. But if you committed a crime and you're out and you've done your time, then I don't have a problem with somebody getting their rights back. If they've done their time, they spent like Oregon 15 years. That's pretty decent. I was thinking 10. But yeah, 15 years and you don't do nothing, you get all your rights back, not a problem. Because if you can go 15 years without screwing up, kind of means you rehabilitate yourself.
And that's that's what I'm saying is, and I'm gonna probably do a series on this where I'm gonna try talking and lining up some attorneys from different states, and spend like a half hour or so, discussing, things about, getting your rights back. So this way there's an actual, hey, there's an attorney involved. So it's not, this is what I understand it, to be. Bald out in the crowd says, raise your hand if you tested positive for beer virus and are bored in quarantine. Whew. So
I coughed to it.
So let's talk about that little BS crap.
What BS?
So I've been in quarantine for going on 14 days.
Oh, you have? It's
Yeah.
only supposed to be 10.
So the Monday after you were on the show,
yeah,
I went in and was tested for the Rona, and I tested negative, and they put me on a 4-day quarantine, saying you need to come back in 3 days to be retested because we pretty much, you have all the symptoms, so we think this is a false negative. I went back and I was retested again. It comes back as a as a negative, and they're like, "Oh no! You have all the symptoms. You've had contact with somebody who has COVID, and so you're a presumptive positive. We're quarantining you for 10 days, and we're gonna run a PCR test." So I get a third COVID test. The results of this will take 3 to 5 days to get the results back. Well, I'm waiting, and I give them, okay, most places aren't going to work Sunday, and then Monday was a holiday, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And still hadn't heard any results, so I emailed the doctor through the patient portal, and still no response. Yesterday, I go and look at my records online, and your test results from your PCR test are negative. So 3 fucking negative tests, and I was quarantined for 10 days.
I tell you what, I wish I was just quarantined and I didn't have it, because it is pretty terrible to have. It's kind of like the best way I can refer to it is like the super flu, where you get those body aches. Hell, my hair, my actual hair on my head hurt if I touched it. Or if I laid a certain way. My hair on my head. All the symptoms that you run from it, the body aches, the headaches are probably the worst because there's hardly anything you can take for those other than aspirin. They did not give Victoria anything for her COVID. She was over it in 5 days. Believe it or not. And I got it from her, like I said, because I drank from a water bottle she drank through. And it did not hit me until after I said, man, my back was killing me. So I took me a back pain pill. And so, oh, give me a drink of your water. And I didn't think about it until after I swallowed. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, this is bad. This is going to be bad. Friday night sitting at work, it was bad. And I was hurting. Everything was hurting then. And then, you know how I get the flu anyway. It's just, and to me, it was double the thing. I didn't have a sinus infection. Didn't feel that pressure. But talking, that damn cough I still got. Now I go Tuesday back to the doctor's Tuesday, so hopefully they. No, I did not get the shot.
Nope, neither have I.
The reason why I did not get the shot was because I was waiting for FDA approval that happened a week after I got corona.
See, so, I just have too many concerns on it.
I do too. Now,
and so I'm, even though they rushed the FDA approval, I'm still, I would still wait, at least 3 years to find out what, all the side effects are and yada, yada, yada before I even contemplated getting it, and all that crap. And so, no, I honestly, even though
my concerns were over, any type of heart, if you had a heart issue or any stroke issues like that with my wife,
yep.
We were initially we was going to take the Johnson & Johnson shot because it was one shot and you was done. And then right when we was getting ready to go take it, or I was getting ready to make the appointment, then they come out blood clotting. Oh crap. No, I got high blood pressure. I don't need to be messing around with blood clots. My wife, that's why she had a stroke, because she had a blood clot. We're not going to do that. So we held off. We was going to wait for whoever got full FDA approval. Now, let me just say this. I want to be clear. I still would have held off on getting a shot even if Trump was president. Because, I kind of already knew that it was a man-made, man-released virus, whether they like to admit it or not, but it was. If it was done on purpose, who knows? But I tell you this, if the Chinese did release this on purpose to try to influence the election, then we need to nuke the little yellow bastards right now. After going through it and dealing with it, they need to be nuked. They need to be cleaned off the face of the planet. And I mean that 100% if they released it on purpose. Or just to influence the election, because it destroyed the world, basically. So we're going to wait for the FDA approval on that one. My doctor, my own personal doctor, has not gotten the shot yet. And now she sees corona infected people all the damn time. Now, at this point in time, I've seen a study where people who had it are better protected than those who have not had it and got the shot. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, yes, and I've also seen where they ran a test and found out, what your your immunity to the virus was. And one lady, I guess she was way off the chart.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, okay, well, and I guess she was like fully vaccinated also. And she still ended up with it. So, again, this is still something that they're trying to learn,
Right. I mean, they are trying to learn. I mean, but the thing is, though, is that you don't see them advertising the shots on TV like you do other medication. Because if they do other medication, they got to list what? All the side effects. And they haven't done that with none of the vaccines. Now, a lot of people in my family
I
got
just
it.
cut in and said, keep in mind.
Go ahead, Rob.
But keep in mind, if it's that safe, there's no problem. Why is there exemptions for White House staff, for the staff of the manufacturers that make the vaccine, and also, all the illegal immigrants we're having come in, they don't need to get the shot. So why is there a difference if it's that important? There's a lot of speculation, a lot of reasons to wonder with this.
And not
besides the
enough
timeline. And the fact that the FDA did approve something already just looks shitty on the FDA. What about long-term trials? I mean, have they done like a caring mother? Have they done studies with people on heart medication or other different things? I mean, it's not even possible that they have. So it just doesn't make any sense.
No, no. But look at the wide variety of treatments, though. Once you, we're not talking about the shot now to prevent you from getting it, but we're talking about the different types of treatments. They gave me just a regular steroid pack and some antibiotics that were like 250 milligrams. 6 pills. That's all I got. They gave Victoria nothing. My 2-year-old grandson was around all of us, and he just laughed it off. What's different about his body chemistry or younger people's body chemistry that makes them less susceptible to it versus the older folks? I can see where if I was in my 70s, about ready to die anyway, and got this crap, oh yeah, it would have killed you because shortness of breath. Now, I guess, thank God that I snore and I have a CPAP machine, because when it got a little hard for me to breathe, I just threw my CPAP machine on. I have my own ventilator, I guess. I ventilate it myself. But
So
I can see where it could hurt the older folks. And I still say that Governor Spaghetti Head Cuomo up there needs to be indicted on crimes against humanity for killing all those old folks in New York by sending the sick people with corona to damn nursing home. Who in the world thought that was a good idea?
So
the state collects a lot of money out from old people in nursing homes.
hell yeah.
And then when you die, they even tax you on your wealth. So, transfer of assets, all that type of stuff, the state gets a cut in New York. So there was definitely some monetary motive. I could state that to it.
Yeah, but you can't tax them after they're dead, but they can still vote.
No, but they tax anything that's given. If you give anything, property, vehicles, all that stuff.
I was being a smartass, Rob. You can still vote. You can't pay taxes no more, but you can still vote. Somebody's got to win the dead vote every 2 years.
So yeah, and I know 2 people that were in their late 80s, early 90s who got the vid, and they survived. Now, did they have complications, with shortness of breath and all that other? Oh, hell yeah, and But yeah, they still survived.
I mean, you still have a 99.4% chance of surviving it. I mean, that's pretty damn good odds.
Yeah.
Figuring that more, and there's another thing. The numbers are skewed too. We will never know how many people actually died of the Rona by itself without any other underlying health conditions.
Hell,
Because,
we can't even get a correct number of how many people got it,
oh, that's true.
because if you go and you look at the numbers, I guarantee you, I am, considered because I was marked as a presumptive positive.
Oh yeah,
I fall under. I fall under that. Even though 3 negative tests, it doesn't matter because they said, "Oh yeah, well you're a presumptive." So
did you ever have the any of the symptoms?
So I had like a major sinus infection. I was having headaches.
Headaches is a part of it. The sinus infection is not.
Well, they say loss of smell, and if you have a sinus infection, you're gonna have loss of smell. So I was massively congested. I couldn't smell anything. My nose was all clogged.
See, my nose
I was having body aches.
Yeah.
And I was nauseated and crap. But so that's what made me go and get a test. I'm like, okay, well, I possibly could have it. And it came back negative. So I'm like, cool, whatever. And then they're like, oh no, you still got to come back in like 3 days to get a second test. And you can't go back to work until you've tested negative. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my taste and smell. And right now, I can't smell nothing unless it's right underneath my nose. So, it has to be underneath my nose. I started getting my taste back. I still don't have it back all the way, but I never had a sinus infection at all. And maybe because of the CPAP machine.
Well, and not every single person is going to have every single symptom.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. But did you have them all at the same time, or did you go through the symptoms like one after each other? Because that's how it felt with me.
I pretty much, my nose was all congested. I was having headaches, and my body was aching, and I was nauseated. It was all right there in that. No, I don't have any hair on my head.
Well, any hair on you hurt because mine did. I still can't get over that. I was like the doctors, and she touched the side of my head. I said, "Oh, I just touched your hair." I said, "I know it hurts." And she's like, "I've never have anybody heard of their hair hurting them." And I was like, "Yeah, you touched. Maybe because you, I don't know." She touched my head, and my hair was hurting. And I was like, "God Almighty, don't touch my damn hair."
Misha says,
maybe I'm just strange, huh?
Misha says that.
I see it. That's funny.
Yeah, his buddy who caught it in November still can't smell or taste.
Now that's pretty bad.
Yeah, because they say the smelling and tasting can be a long term, and also if you still have a cough, the cough can be
long term too.
Yep.
Oh God, I can't. If I can stop coughing, I'd feel a little bit better.
Yeah, is it a dry cough or is it a wet cough?
It depends on what part of the time of the day it is. I shit you not. If I get up in the middle of the night to go pee or something like that, it's a dry cough. If I cough now, because I've been talking and all that, it'll be wet. And then I also got dry mouth. It was, felt like really terrible dry mouth.
Yeah, like Cottonmouth.
Oh, it was worse than cottonmouth. I almost felt like the moisture was leaving my mouth and it was turning to scales type feeling.
Misha says it took him 6 months to get breath back.
Wow. Hope it don't take me that long. I gotta go back to work sometime when my wife gets home sometime.
Well, if Rob's device ever reconnects, we'll bring him back on the panel. So we've got Ohio 45 ACP out in the crowd. Welcome. They said they've had 2 positives at the shop, 1 vax, 1 non-vax.
So it sounds like the vaccine is not well. The vaccine is obviously not working for the Delta variant all that well.
Yeah.
And this was the Delta that we had here.
Well, just wait for the moo to come through. That's right.
I was playing.
2 Live Moo has got his own damn strain.
Does he?
Yeah, you haven't heard about the new Moo variant?
No.
Yeah, it's the newest one.
The mover. I was trying to say I was going to be the Omega variant, the beginning and the end, but I didn't. I didn't help.
No. Yeah.
So
I've been giving Moo crap about it for about a week or so because yeah, that's the newest one. Is MU Moo.
I like it. But the friend of mine, one of the guys at the gun shop, he got the vax. Richard, he got it because he's in the 70 or 60 year age group. So
Yep.
he got it way back in the spring, April or something like that. And he just tested positive for it the other day. He's telling me he had to go take care of, and he got his at I want to say Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and like Misha's saying is that the vaccine isn't to like prevent you from getting it. It's to keep you from dying. But,
I mean,
the death rate has never been super high. So, I can see it being that it helps to prevent like long lasting. Like you have some people that are considered, oh crap! What's the term for when they go forever, woman?
And
yeah, the long haulers.
Infinite, yeah. But I saw just the other day where they were saying now they're recommending a booster shot every 5 or 8 months or something like that, and then a pill twice a day so you don't get it. I mean, I think they're going a little overboard. Now, after I talk to my doctor, I may go for a booster. But since I've had it and already beaten it pretty well, I don't see where I need to go get vaccinated now because I should already have the antibodies.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is anyone paying attention that they're talking about doing they're actually already, who is it?
Puddinhead?
No, it's one of the vac companies. Modesta is saying they're going to have a flu shot this fall.
Oh, with it in it. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, with the COVID vax in it. It's like, so what you're saying is you're going to try to, vaccinate people for COVID that are saying, no, I don't want it. So you're making it so it's not their choice. or they're going to have to choose that, you know what, guess what? I'm not going to get a flu vaccine because I can't trust any of the flu vaccines because who knows which one you're actually going to be trying to put in my body.
Well, did anybody die from the flu last year?
No one.
No one died for anything but COVID. So
and Rob's gone.
flu got him.
and Rob's. Yep.
He must have got taxed by Cuomo.
Well, he says he's having a bad connection. So.
Right. But I mean, I would be willing to get the flu / COVID vaccine this fall. It is. I recommend. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. I do recommend that everybody should have a consultation with their doctor and see if their doctor recommends that they have the shot. And if so, I don't see why you shouldn't get it. Like I said, I had to take into account blood clotting issues and everything like that. I needed to talk to my cardiologist, and I needed to talk to my primary doctor. So, and that's why I held off on me and Victoria and Jennifer because of that. Because hey, you know, we got other health concerns between the two of us, and if one of us gets it, somebody's going to have to be here to take care of the kids. So we both can't go down at the same time. And that's probably why it took a little bit longer for Jennifer to get it versus myself. Of course, she didn't drink after Victoria, but she got it almost like I said, a full week after I had it. And we pretty much isolated ourselves in the house. Only one really going between us was my grandson. So maybe he's the one that gave it to her by being a carrier.
Yep. So
yeah, I agree with you, Bald and Curious, about natural immunity. And I also saw that too, that, you know, where we're like 80% between people that are vaccinated and the people that got it, there's like 80% of us that have some type of immunity to it. Now, I saw that. Did you see that one too? That report?
yeah.
So if that's the truth, then we're almost at herd immunity.
Yep. So, and when you were saying like talking with your doctor, my doctor and I talked about it, and I was like, I don't trust it, and I'm not going to do it right now, you know. And she's like, cool, then I'll just mark you as, you know, don't ask again. And she's like, if you change your mind, you can always say you want it, you know, but we're not going to hound you on over it.
You know, we hadn't talked about the elephant in the room yet. You know, we've fooled around with, you know, the government over, you know, too much of control of our lives and all that.
Yep.
And rights and all that. But President Puddinhead, you know, his little announcement about charging companies with over 100 employees $14,000 for not having a COVID test weekly or being vaccinated per employee. So my question on that is, other than that being completely an overreach and communistic type socialism crap, what makes the difference between if you have 99 employees or if you have 100 employees?
One employee.
Why? Well, I know that. I'm simple. How does President Puddinhead justify that number of 100? That's such an arbitrary number. And there's more small, you know, smaller businesses. Well, one, that would just go ahead and put them out of a business. Or does he already think that any business that has less than 100 employees are already out of business? I know. I mean, what's his? He's, you know, we always get told is trust the science. Well, where the hell is your science on this 99 employees versus 100. And how are you going to enforce that? Who is going to check these records? Who's going to go to every employer in the country with more than 100? Are they going to post to just self-police themselves? If that's the case, then all they had to do is say, "Yep, we had no positive cases."
So I agree with Misha on that. If you want to get the vax, get it. If you don't, don't.
Yep.
You know, it's all has to come down to a personal decision. You know,
What's the left?
like every single thing else. You
What's
know,
the left tell us? My body, my choice.
yep. And then you've got Rick says 21 states and numerous businesses have stated that they are not going to abide by his mandate. And probably because there's a hell of a lot of people that are saying, you know what, go ahead, fire me.
Oh,
I'm not going to quit.
well, if you look,
you're going to have to fire me.
Did you see that there's more jobs than there are people now?
Oh, yeah, there's been more jobs.
I mean, it's like 10 million jobs out there, and there's like 10 million employees. Well, let's think about why. Oh, now I know the unemployment's running out on a lot of these people.
Yeah, but they're thinking about redoing it.
I know it.
Because it's ramping up again.
Oh yeah. And then they'll use some budget reconciliation thing to push it through and put us more in debt. That's kind of like the eviction moratorium that he says, oh well, we're going to have this alphabet agency stick that in, and the Supreme Court shot it down. Did y'all you saw that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the Supreme Court said no, this alphabet agency cannot add this to it. No one's thought about that setting precedent against the ATF and all the crap that they do. The Supreme Court, that's all. No one's really thought about that yet, have they? They just shot down an alphabet agency. We got another one trying to make rules. The Supreme Court's already told one no. That's the precedent. The precedent's been set to stop the ATF. No one's thought about that yet.
And Misha brings up another good point. He says, sad part is states are seeking to deny unemployment if you're fired for no vax.
I didn't hear that in Tennessee. Now, Tennessee stopped paying the supercharged unemployment last March. Really? Yeah, March. They stopped paying it in March. I actually could have made more money at home on unemployment.
Yeah. That's what the wife was yelling. Why do you have to be such an essential employee when you could be making more money sitting on your ass than you could be out working? I'm like, well, I'd rather be out working anyways.
Well, I agree, but man, $2,400 extra a month? My house might be paid off by now.
Right? That's what the wife, all the bills would be paid off. And we'd have a nice savings account.
I know, I'm eating through my savings account now.
Right?
Did you get the mail, child?
Yeah, I was wondering if you gotta wash him.
Oh. What's wrong with the buds?
He's mad.
Oh, well, shut the door. He's going to get big mad here in a minute. What's wrong, buds? Oh, I got to beat myself. Where you at, buds? Come here. Breathe. Oh, my God. She just shut the door on you in here. You're okay, buds. Come here. Come here. You want to say hi to G and the guys? No.
He's like, no, I don't.
Because Aunt Tori left him.
Uh-oh.
Most of the time. Come here, buds. Calm down. I know.
He's like, hell no.
You want to watch G.I. Joe? I got it on for you. Hello, she had me watch the Transformers last 3 days. Here. No, am I?
So,
Oh, you get the hell over it.
oh,
Just remember, Emmett, crying is pain leaving the body.
yeah, that doesn't ever really work on kids.
No, it doesn't work on adults either. See, in fact, don't leave the door open. So
I think I'm gonna jump out. G23.
Okay, you want to plug your show tonight before you bail out of here?
Excuse me. If anybody's up at a god awful hour, can't sleep. 1 o'clock Pacific. What is that? 4 o'clock metric.
Yep.
Come hang out at the overnight on my channel. The chat tonight. We're going to talk about EDC setups. Hopefully it'll be fun and entertaining.
Misha just asked about an EDC setup. So
if you happen to be up, check it out.
Yep. Thanks again for jumping on. And I know craft holsters, people to ask about craft holsters. Calaveras does a lot with craft holster, and Guns and Barbecue does a lot with craft holster, and Patriot in the Dark. Those three guys are really good in knowing about craft holsters. So they would be the ones I would definitely talk to. I don't have any experience with any of the craft holsters.
I don't either.
And so I know Patriot loves the hell out of them. I think he's got 20 or 30 of them. I could be wrong, but he's definitely the guy to probably ask. So yeah, I know Patriot in the Dark and Guns and Barbecue both have videos on craft holster shoulder holsters, and I believe Clover Tack does also. But I know Patriot has got a couple of really good craft holster videos out there, really informative, and he goes in depth on them. So I would probably say go check his videos out on there. Give me a minute and I can get you a link to that video. I only have 400 people I have to go through.
Hey, did you ever get to 300 yet?
I was at like 298 or 299, and I think I've dropped back down to like 297 or so.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see you got 297. I'll try to get you to 300. Get you on the Odyssey.
Yeah, it'll happen one day or another. Well, I have an Odyssey set up and everything. It's just it won't auto transfer the videos unless you have 300.
Right.
Why am I having such a friggin' hard time finding Patriot in the Dark?
I have never messed with any of your holsters, but I probably will go through them to get one for my Taurus 44.
Yeah. I'm probably going to order from Klinger Holsters. because right now, they're running a special where you can get like 2 holsters, pretty much like 5 setups and everything, for like $90, $89.
Well, that ain't bad at all.
So you can get 2 separate holsters. So you can get one for, a SIG P320. You could get one for a Rock Island 1911. So yeah, they definitely have some options.
That's good to know. Because like I said, I've been thinking. I don't know if I want. I always wear outside the waistband. If I want just an outside the waistband for it, or a chest holster. I've seen those chest holsters.
I have 2 boys, and definitely the hardest part of the pandemic is being a mom.
But I like one where I can just put it on my. I got on my plate carrier, basically.
Yeah,
Or if
and so
or if I can move the holster around to chest wise. I'm just thinking that 44 mag would be easier to carry or pull, aim, get it faster on target coming from the chest versus coming from the hip.
so Defense Dad also reminds that he has a 20% off code if you want to order anything from VersaCarry. So
Is it that link you sent? Oh, craft holsters.
yeah, that one's Patriot in the Dark's craft holster video.
Oh
So,
yeah, I saw that one. That's nice leather shoulder holster like that. Yeah.
yeah, and so
They got one over there at the at American Defense. He's got a couple of those leather holsters like that. He also carries the oh shit, what the hell they're called now? He only carries like 3 holsters. It's not the NB8. It's the other leather holsters from Texas. They're not craft. They're VersaCarry.
okay, so why am I not seeing?
Who's the other company with the Kydex, and it's like a mixture of a leather back and a Kydex front? One of the other guys talks about them a lot. I don't think it's Alien Gear. What's the other one?
I think Alien Gear has one. Why is there not a newer email from Klinger Holsters? Well, whatever. Because they're You can get. Let me show you.
I've seen the Versa carry or the craft holsters. I mean, I looked at them before.
So right now, this setup right here, that's normally $109, you can pick up for like $89. And so you have all these different options of different, firearms. I mean, shit, it's almost every firearm that you could want. I mean, you throw out one, and it's probably in here. I mean, they've got. So I guess they don't have the GX4, but they have a hell of a lot. And then you can get a second one. You choose if you want left or right-handed, and you get IWB hinge holster, the cushion, extra shell, and then belt clip, IWB belt clips, OWB belt clips, and then gear belt clip, and low ride belt clip. So you can definitely decide how you want to wear that thing. Defense Dad says he just dropped a box of SIG V Crown and 2 boxes of punched 9mm. Do you know how much of a pain in the ass it is to sort those?
I don't know what punch 9mm is. I know what the V Crown is. I got some 10mm V Crown.
Yeah, it's just another self-defense ammo.
Well,
Hollow point.
I kind of figured that. I've never heard of them. Is somebody local or something like that?
No. Oh crap.
Let me eyeball it. I got Googless. Is that
Yeah,
called punch?
Yeah.
Punch
I've
ammo?
got it right here.
Some 22 Federal.
Yeah, it's Federal.
Oh, okay.
So, and you can pick it up. You can pick it up in 9mm 124 grain, and other calibers also. So, you can get 230 grain, 45.
If you go to Federal's website, you can pull it up on there. Actually, it's pretty cheap. It's got like $28 for a box of 45 ACP. 240 grain.
Not bad.
No, then they got 9mm 22. Well, not bad for 20 rounds. Real bad for 50. Well, they got some 380 available too. No 38. Well, they got 10mm. I got 10mm. Yeah, Federal and CCI and Remington, you can order directly from there. I had to get back to work, make some money, so I can order me one.
So, is your work paying you for your lost time?
No, because the day that I got sick, me and the supposed account manager got into it there at work. So I told him about his management skills. After 3 weeks before that, I offered to help him, saying, "Well, I've come from I had to take a demotion because there was nowhere else for me to go because the contract ended." I said, "I've been in your shoes as a account manager, and you got to deal with the client, you got to deal with your guards." I told him I'm more than willing to and more than happy to help you. If you need somebody you need to bounce some ideas off of, I'm more than willing to help you. Not like I don't want his job because I don't like the client. And the client themselves was is an Amazon distribution warehouse, and they don't even follow their own policies. So it's kind of hard to figure out what policies that they want followed. You know what I mean? Because they
Yep.
don't for you. And so anyway, we had it out, and then I'll be going to a new site, probably a bakery closer here to the house, most likely. But yeah, I just sent the branch manager my positive COVID test, and then told him, "Oh, by the way, my wife's in the hospital." So, like I said, I've worked for these people for over almost 10 years. I'm pretty safe work wise. If when I go back, no, they're not going to pay me because they're just cheap bastards. But
Well, they should. I mean, I believe they have to give you the 80 hours of
no,
COVID pay.
nope. Let's put it this way: I hadn't had a paycheck the last 2 weeks, so I can say no to that. I'd say no. That's not what happened. Somebody else told me that too, and I was like, maybe in a blue state, not in this state, ain't happening. They'll have a shit fit because they'll have to pay me 3 weeks vacation come November, and they'll have a heart attack over that.
Because you have to go over.
Well, that's like in most security companies. Depends on who the branch manager is, and it really depends on who the client is. It's on how you get treated and pay. And it's like saying there's 6 different sites here in Cleveland, and they all pay different. So Amazon was the highest paying account that they have here that was non-armed. And they were paying $16.50 an hour, which is not bad money at all. But it was not enough money for Rick to keep his mouth shut, or for Rick to say, "You you're doing this wrong. This is not how we're supposed to be doing this." And then if you don't want me to do it that way, then don't send me to the Amazon training center and take the way they want things done and then turn around and do it that way and then tell me, "No, we don't do it that way here." And you should have never sent me to the training center.
Yeah. So we got K24 who's joined us, Rob D out in the crowd who's saying he's got bad connection, Pat Hirsch, and TPC. So I know we've been going about 2 hours, and I've got no other topic, and this computer's about to die. I don't feel like going and trying to find the cord.
Lazy.
So, yeah.
COVID.
So, I think John Crump is getting ready to fire up a live. And I think Uncle John's going to be doing a reloading chat here in a little bit. So, you want to plug anything before we get out of here?
The only thing I got been going on the last 3 weeks, y'all been watching my Verona playlist of videos I had stored up, like on Magazine Monday on every day but Monday. Kind of like Taco Tuesdays on Wednesdays. So you've been watching those. There's like 3 more. One dropping tomorrow will be a couple baseball card videos dropping for Emmett's collection. I did those for fun, basically. And so those are coming up the next 3 days. Hopefully I can do some videos and get some new videos out by Monday or next week. And then week after that, I should be able to go back to normal. But yeah, we're just rolling on the Corona videos that I had stored up right now.
Well, that it's better than me not putting out any videos. Well, I haven't been able to get out and film any, so hopefully I'll get out and be able to film, because I do have a review I got to get done. I just been in quarantine, so can't get out to show any video of, so that will be probably coming up here pretty soon. And now that right now my Facebook account is locked and my IG account is locked, so I'm fighting to be able to get those back.
Why did they lock them? They locked from something you posted, or?
Yeah, I posted some memes that they, I guess, didn't find very funny, and they've been threatening to delete my account for like a fucking year now. And so now they've just been like, well, you violated the community standard, so you can't post anything. If you don't like our decision, appeal it.
Right. I had a woman on Facebook yesterday. Cousin passed or posted something about minimum wage being $7.25 for like the last 12 years, and she's pretty centrist type person anyway. So I posted on there. It's like, well, 12 years look like somebody made bad decisions, didn't get a better skill set, and didn't even try to become a manager at McDonald's. And then some woman chimed in on there and said, I was going to report you to the Coast Guard and blah, 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 this. And then I seen you wasn't in the real Coast Guard. And I was like, okay. And then I just responded back to her. I said, okay, Karen. I said, dude, was it the, and then I said, was it the statement that I made that pissed you off, or my picture of Biden in a Chinese outfit saying the 46th president, some done fook, you know? Is that what pissed you off, my profile picture, or, you know? And she's like, I like that, and she just started bullshitting, and I said, look, lady, I've been put in Facebook jail by a lot better people than you. Block me.
Yep. So Rob D says, people screaming in the street again. And TPC says, welcome to my world. Burnaby says, damn it, G23, you need to conform. Yeah, that's probably a word that's not in any computable dictionary in my brain. So
yeah,
that won't happen.
I can't conform, comply. Have no idea what those words mean. Never heard of them.
So I want to thank everybody again that was on the panel. Rob D, co-host extraordinaire, Mr. DM Foss, Artak and Daughters, and everybody else that's been out in the chat. Gonna play our outro and get the hell up out of here.
In a world of uncertainty and turmoil, one man stands alone, along with his faithful sidekick. A man who entertains and educates the masses weekly, 70% of the time. Born out of the dusty plains of Washington State, now from the coastal forests of Oregon. The man, the myth, the man, G23.
Later, everyone. Be safe.